Hi, hello. I actually didn't expect so many people to be here at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, so I'm very happy to see all of you. Some of you I already seen around the conference and at my other talks, so I appreciate that you came over. So today I wanted to talk more about transparency in leadership. From what I heard from many of leads and other management staff since like Sunday, most of people either hate transparency or love it. So I feel like it might be a really interesting topic to talk about. Just like a small disclaimer for all of you, I intend to have like a Q&A session at the end of my talk. So if you have any questions or anything to share, that can stay and wait for a later time after the lecture itself. A little bit about myself. I don't know why there's like a spot without the photo, but a little bit about myself. So I'm Iwona. I work in the industry for over 10 years. It's actually my 11th year in the industry. And during that time, I was both working in development teams, and now I work in publishing company. So I have experience from both sides of game industry, so to speak. I managed 5 internal teams, so those were like my own teams that I led. And yeah, about 10 external teams, meaning teams that I worked with as a publisher, or there were like outsourced teams that I was leading. Yeah, and I develop and publish games on very different platforms, beginning from mobiles, but also obviously PC, consoles. I work with consoles from a release management point as a business developer. Lots of point of contact, actually. So, what is transparency in business? And yeah, we have like 4 major fields that I feel like we could actually talk about. So transparency in business could mean financial disclosure, and that means like, you know, all those financial reports that the COO, CFO, and other people do to show to stakeholders, to investors, but they can also show that to employees to kind of, you know, showcase the financial state of the company. There's the corporate governance, meaning like we have a structure, we have like board members, executives, and you disclose information on what those people actually do in the company. So everybody in the company can actually get to know more about what the CEO is doing actually, and it's why he's actually busy with stuff and it's not actually playing golf. There's the employee relations. That's a little bit more that I will be talking later on. But employee relations is basically all those things like HR things. So we are closing one position, we are laying off somebody, or we are hiring somebody, and everybody in the company knows what's going on regarding HR's needs, or what are the relations between different departments. And crisis management, so if there's like a huge mess, huge issue, or maybe not huge, but still like a crisis, everybody in the company may want to know actually that there's something going on. And I must say that we live right now in the huge crisis of game industry, so probably a lot of you already know about that, and we talk a lot about that already. But it's always good to kind of, you know, let the people in the company know that, yeah, there's some problems in the company, and it's better to be prepared or not. So right now I would like to talk more about benefits that might be obvious but might not be that so obvious to some of us of being transparent to your employees. And one of that, which is a major benefit to myself, is actually boosting morale through transparency, for like, disclosing things to your employees that you might actually think that they are not important, but it's better actually to tell them some stuff rather than not tell them. And it's all about being open about goals, challenges of the company. So what are the fixed numbers that we are looking forward to get from the games? To, I don't know, what are the sales? What are we aiming regarding recruitment? So how many people we want to have in the company by the end of this year, or by the end of, let's say, another year or so. So this actually kind of boosts the confidence in employees, that they feel that they are taken care of. So they are part of the team, and they are not just regular employees that we hired and we pay money and they do their job and that's it. Like, we forget about them. So they actually feel like their role is meant to do something more in the company, that they are not actually just like a pawn, because nobody wants to feel like a pawn in the company. And yeah, that's basically it. And the boosting of morale is actually a cool thing while having like a crunch or something like that. I know that we regularly don't do crunches, yeah, in game industry, but when they happen, you better have like a more boosted morale team working on the project, rather than people who are down and they are very depressed, and now they have to work like 10 hours per day to close a milestone. And so yeah, so things like that, you better actually think about that before, because during crunch it might be a little bit hard to do so. So one of the transparency benefits is better decision making, and that's something that might not be so obvious to some of you, but middle management, so producers, leads in the projects, they often lack crucial information going from the higher management. So higher management forgets about the middle management. They don't tell them a lot of stuff going on with, let's say, company cash flow or any budgeting. So they don't know things. They don't know how to make decisions. They are paralyzed because of lack of information. They don't know how to cooperate with higher management. So with transparency, actually, they can make better decisions, and they can make them quicker, because they know the whole picture. They know what's going on. They will not bother their head of department with some questions if they already know that. So the employees can actually make decisions on themselves, but also with their work. So even like a lower tier of the company, if they know what's the goal, what's the thing going on in the company, they actually will make some decisions regarding their priorities. They will not bother, for example, their producer that, yeah, I'm changing a process here because it will fit better the bigger picture. Yeah, they can make some decisions by themselves. Yeah, so transparency also will enhance innovation and creativity, and it actually connects with the crisis management, because with crisis actually management, you need to be creative sometimes, and I'm pretty sure that all of you had some difficulties, challenges during your work that the solution wasn't so obvious sometimes. Sometimes it kind of required you to be flexible. It requires some imagination actually to overcome those problems. And a transparently led company and team can actually be more open to share ideas, and they will be more open to give you feedback. And trust me, you need feedback from your employees. And they will be open to get that feedback from you as well, because that will be like, more relaxed, more comfortable atmosphere at the company, that they will feel that they can actually do that, they can trust you, and and that you can trust them as well, obviously. Yeah, so that's go on with the next slide. So improves crisis management. That's go on with the creativity. Because if everybody knows, understands what's going on in the company. So for example, we lost an investor, so we have there might be a problem with cash flow right now. So it's better to tell people, actually, yeah, guys, like, we lost a contract. There's a huge mess right now. Like, we have money for now, and we are doing whatever we can to ensure that your paycheck will come. But you have to kind of, be prepared. Like, you have to kind of understand the situation in which the company is currently. Yeah. So that's why this transparency level will reduce their panic and their idea of running away from the company right now. I had many situations in my career in which people would change their office, their job, just because they weren't really stable. They felt like, yeah, it could be today or tomorrow that they will lose their job, because they didn't know what's going on in the upper management. They didn't know if there will be money, if they are secured with their paycheck. And obviously people have, like, debts and lives and families, and they kind of rely on their employer, yeah, on this particular thing. So telling them actually things like that might be considered not even like kind from your side, but they would feel, like, employees would feel that you are taking care of things, so they can actually be relaxed and just do their job, the regular, like 8 to 4 work. And yeah, and there's like that long-term sustainability, which is actually fun, because transparency can actually build a very strong management within the company. So if the middle management or producers, leads, know stuff about the company, so you are kind of encouraging them to get to know more information about the state of the company, about what's going on, they can actually grow into that position in which they understand better your business, and they will actually support you in, I don't know, with finding investors or convincing investors, because they understand the broader picture of it. Like, they will make decisions in regards to the fact that you have a very good plan for future for your company, and they want to be part of it. And there's like possible issues, so there's a list of it. I don't have like each slide for it, so we will stay on this slide for a bit. So there are like possible issues that might come out from being too transparent, although I don't feel like we can be too transparent, to be honest. I feel like you kind of have to level the information that you give out. So first of all, there's the overload of information. So you give too much information to people, they get to know too much facts that they don't really need. And that goes from, like, getting too much detail about the finances, so exact sums that you are covering with contracts with your investors. Like, you could give too much information regarding stakes and stuff like that. Yeah. So some people just don't need that. Like, you can be very general in what you give to some levels, but some levels require more detail. They will ask questions to the middle management, and they would like to have some answers. So it's good always to have middle management on your side, and they should know a lot, actually, more than you actually would think that middle management should know. So there are the management challenges. which is a little bit hard because it like giving too much information to too many people might be understood as I'm asking for your opinion, and too many opinions on some things might actually be hard to cover it with decisions. So that goes with the 6th point, yeah? So if you have too many opinions, too many feedbacks, sometimes people are losing like contact, like who is actually responsible for that? Like who should actually make the decision? Who's actually here to do that? So this is actually something that you have to think over in a way like, if I were them, what exactly I would like to know and which people should be involved in the whole process. So I, for example, had situations in which I worked like both with board management and with producers. So I was like in the middle, and I got like a lot of information that was disclosed to me by the investors, by the board members, CEO, whatever. And I always was like thinking like, okay, does the producer should know about this particular thing, or is it still early and they might actually wait up with it? And that's something like, that you always have to think over, like, do they actually need that information? Is it necessary for that particular person to know all those details? Probably not, because we tend to overshare a little bit in some situations. And that goes with privacy concerns. So a lot of people, when they think about transparency, they feel like, Jesus, like privacy, like I'm a stock market company, so probably it's better to tell nothing about the company at all. Let's just skip it, maybe. And then you have like situation in which nobody in the company knows even things like, if the game is being finished or something. So because the higher management is too afraid that somebody will leak the information to media. So there's no trust here that somebody will know that they shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, and that's actually the solution that I would give here is you should always disclose information to people, telling them if something is a general thing that everybody in the company may know, or something stays only in this room. That's something for you only, for your ears. Please don't tell it to anybody else. Sometimes it's a mix, so some things may be told to your teammates, and some things should stay. This way, I feel like the best idea to do so is actually to provide the company with like a regular reports that are being sent to the team, because you can actually choose what kind of information you are giving out. Like the general ideas like, guys, we are setting up for release date in a month. That's something that would be cool to actually tell, in my opinion, to the people so they are on the same page. But perhaps telling them, all of them actually, that, probably there will be a huge delay, and because of that, we will be losing money and stuff like that. That might actually stay for, I don't know, leaders and producers, so they will be more in the picture, yeah, with all of that. There's fear of misinterpretation. A lot of people are afraid that what they will tell to other people might be taken out of context, that it will be not received well, and things like that. So in my opinion, it's a very good point, because a lot of us don't know how to speak our mind in a clear way. Like, we don't know. Sometimes we go and we just tell people stuff, and then it's like, yeah, probably could use better words to describe something. In this situation, I think that it's very good to actually use some help, like internal help. So you might have somebody who is very good with wording, and sometimes it's not the CEO. CEO sometimes lack communication skills. So you may want to use, for example, a skilled producer that actually knows how to give out information. Or you may want to use a PR manager. PR managers are actually great with words. Like, they know what should be disclosed to people and what should not. And they often are like, I feel like jobless. Whenever I go to the PR manager, they are always like chilling. I feel like they don't really have that much work, and they could actually be used more frequent. So using people to actually give out information, like HR people are very good with words as well. So that's why I'm always encouraging people to take an HR person to like an exit meeting to a person that is leaving the company, because you probably will suck at telling somebody goodbye. We are not willing to work with you anymore. But the HR person will probably carry that pretty well, and nobody will be offended. Everybody will be happy that somebody got laid off. Yeah. So, so this is how it goes. Yeah. There's the resistance to change, and it's actually concerns, let's say, people that are more conservative. Like, a lot of us are afraid of changes. Like, we are afraid that if we move one block, everything will fall apart. And it's always, I feel like, the board management, because they have already that one structure, they have that one process, and suddenly there's one person that comes to them and tell them, like, can we actually be a little bit more transparent? And their first thought is like, oh, you want to tell everybody how much money they are getting each month? Because that's the usual idea that people have with transparency, and transparency can be on very various levels. Like, it doesn't have to concern money. Like, I wasn't actually working in any company that we disclose somebody's paycheck. Like that, for some, it might be a little bit hard to digest that your colleague is earning this and this. So, it's not always about that. Sometimes it's the general things, the crisis things, the recruitment things, the financial status of the company things. Yeah, so there's like a lot of things that you could probably tell people. The delays, the problems with releasing a game, a particular problem with production, yes. So all of those things, in my opinion, could actually be disclosed, but people don't understand what can be actually disclosed with the broader audience, yes. So what kind of things can be actually said, and that's why I feel like the resistance to that change is based basically on the fact that the person that should make the decision about making the company transparent, so probably some director, some CEO, doesn't understand that. They just focus on the financial things, so paychecks, because that's what the big corporations do. Yeah, they share the paychecks, how much your friend from the next desk above they earn. Yeah, so it's always good to tell them that it might be a little things that for them might not be so interesting or important, but in the broader picture they might be very important to the people working in the company daily, because they understand better the environment that they are staying at. And yeah, and there's the decision paralysis. Like I said, too many people knowing too many things, too many opinions, too many feedbacks, too many ideas might actually cause the situation in which you are left without any decision, because there's a lack of structure, so nobody knows who actually should make the decision finally. Like, I can listen to many opinions and choose one of them to be relevant, and that's cool, but yeah, sometimes you have to think it over, like, who actually should know about stuff, and which opinion is actually the one that I value and will choose to be actually the most valued for me. Yeah, I will just give like a small summary, and like I said, I have like a shorter presentation for you guys, but there's the Q&A. So, like to just summarize a little bit. So, I feel like the company really benefits from the transparency on so many levels, and yeah, like it's very cool idea, and I feel like it makes everybody in the company very secure. They feel very safe with the idea that they know what's going on. Like I never lacked a situation in which people would actually be happy with the fact that they don't know what's going on in the company, that somebody didn't communicate with them about the situation in the company. Even I have a situation in which my team was led transparently, so I gave them a lot of information, a lot of disclosure, a lot of information was passed over to my team, with the annotation like that stays for you guys. Like I don't want that information to be passed over because just that's for you, and that was fine. And then I had like a team that was working like next to us, and they weren't led transparently, and their performance was different. Like they didn't know things, so they were often surprised with outcome, and that the fact that somebody wasn't happy with their work, with the things that they did, because well, they didn't know the big picture. They didn't know where the company stands right now. So it made for them much more difficult to understand at the very end of their task that, yeah, well, actually that wasn't the goals, that wasn't the aim. They didn't actually want it, that somebody expected something more. So it's actually a very good experience that I made. Like it's like an experiment that I did on living people, but it actually showed me that being transparent with your team is actually helping. It's not making it harder for you to manage those people. It actually brings you together. They trust you. They feel respected. They feel like you are not treating them like children. They are not feeling like you know, you are this adult that is coming to them. It's like, oh no, you don't have to think about finance and stuff like that. No, it's actually, you should be thinking about finance. Like this is the company that you work with, and you should actually have a gist of what's going on with finance in this company. So I feel like there's a lot of things that show that it's really good to tell people some information regarding higher management, so to speak. Yeah. And then we have the happy employee that is more creative and gives better ideas, like I said, but they also stay at the company. It's actually your job to make those people stay in the company, because the statistics show that 80% of people that is leaving the company at some point, they are not leaving the company because the paycheck was too low or the tasks were stupid and they didn't want to do it. They do that because they hate the management. They don't want to work anymore with their boss, so they change the work, and it makes a big empty hole in the structure and makes a lot of problems, because when you think about people leaving the company, you have to think it like, yeah, so they will be leaving the company in a month, let's say. But I have to make like a job offer, send it over to, I don't know, Skillshot or somewhere, yeah? Look for that person for another 2 weeks. So I have to check the CVs, I have to make intro calls with those people, get all that information. So you're not doing your job. You are doing HR staff recruitment things. And probably around 2 months, if you are lucky, you will get a substitution for that person that is leaving the company. But it's not 2 months. It's actually a half a year, so they get actually on board on the processes that you have in your company and the things that works in the company. So all the culture things, the tasks that they are required to be performing, matching the style of your game for artists, for example. Yeah, getting to know the code for the programmer because it's not his job. he's just, in the middle of the project, so he has to get to know the structure of the code. So it takes a lot of time. So why not make them stay at your company? Like, it's better for you. It's more beneficial for the company. You don't lose money. Like, you could think that you gain some money from somebody leaving the company, but it's not like that. You are actually you are giving out money for free because you are not doing your job, so company is paying you for some stuff that you aren't required, or you have to do crunch hours as managers because, well, who will do actually your job if you have to still go with recruitment, yes? So it takes a lot of time. And if they stay at the company, there's a very high probability they will bring their senior friends to work with you because they will recommend them. They will go to the conferences like this one and tell their friends like, hey, did you actually weren't like looking for a job, because we are actually looking for somebody like you right now. Maybe you will send your CV. And the first question is like, are they cool? Are they like, good people to work with? Like at some point you don't actually look at the paycheck that much. You actually look at the fact if the company is nice, the people working there are respectful, because you don't want to hustle with somebody. You don't want to have a problem. We just want to, live and prosper. so so they actually, that's a benefit of being transparent, because they feel safe, they feel wanted, they feel like they are belonging to the bigger picture because they understand the bigger picture. But on the other hand, the changes are hard. It's very hard for some people to understand the transparency. It's very hard for some people to process the information that they get. They have to learn things like what can be said, what has to stay in the room, what level of transparency we want to introduce in the company. Yeah? So all of that things are a little bit hard. The management decision making, the privacy, all of that is a challenge to be introduced in the company, and you have to be aware of the fact that when introducing transparency to your company, you should do it baby steps, because every change in management is a huge step. It's a huge change to those people that are not managers, because they will not see the big picture. Yeah, they will not see the outcome. Like producers and project managers and directors, we often predict the future because that's our role. We manage the risks, we manage the future possibilities that may occur of any changes. So we are kind of like, fortune tellers, yeah? So we know that, but regular programmer or regular 3D artist, they will not predict the future. They will not know if that change makes sense, if it will actually affect them in a good way or not. And yeah, too much information for some. I hope that this lecture wasn't too much information for all of you. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you for the talk. I would like to ask you if you could perhaps tell us about some of the key processes that have been useful in the past for you, insofar as introducing a greater amount of transparency, because this is about behaviors that are very culturally embedded. Like speaking from personal experience, even if I do have buy-in to everything you just said, and I agree wholeheartedly, then like I kind of know that if I don't build myself a funnel and throw it on the table with like a big red notification, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I hope it works on. So yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, it's the thing about transparency, that it has to be kind of at first supported by the directors, the CEO. So it kind of has to be introduced by them to the whole company, because the changing of the culture in the company, it goes from the head. It doesn't go from the middle part. Like it will be very hard to do that this way, in my opinion. Like if you start doing that and suddenly, like you have to have that upper management telling other people like, yeah, he's right, we should do it like that. The problem might be actually to convince them that you are right with it. Like that might be a little bit problematic. And I hate when people are telling me like, yeah, so if you go to the management, like, you know, the CEO, you should do like a presentation. Like they don't have time for that. Like you have to be very short with CEOs because their attention span is like a little squirrel, in my opinion. So you have to put a lot of effort to tell them what you want. So in my opinion, you go like I did. I did it like from the middle part. Like I did it with my team only. So I disclosed some information at first that weren't that, how to say it. Maybe they weren't that important, but they weren't like financial statements and stuff like that. I didn't tell them things like that because that would be too much, and I would have to require like, you know, blessing from my CEO that I can tell particular people in my team about finance. Yeah, but I gave them things like, you know, I told them, yeah, so we are closing a deal with 1 or 2 projects, so we will be having more projects to be released for this and next year. But that's like, you know, disclosure. Like that's something that let's keep it here in the room. And when I saw that people are feeling more and more confident on one-on-ones, because this always happens on one-on-ones. I never did it like, you know, I didn't come to the room of my team and I would tell them like, yeah, listen up, guys. I have an announcement for you to have. Like I never did that like that. Like I always try to do it like through one-on-ones because I see a lot of value in one-on-ones with employees. So I always did that there. And then I would observe like, yeah, it actually worked because they believe me and they feel secured. They are not looking for a job because we talk about that. So I know that they will be staying at the company for at least this year, which is good. And then I would go to my CEO, my board members, and I would tell them like, yeah, I noticed that basically things that I'm doing with my team, trying to be transparent in some fields, is actually helping, and they agreed with me. And then they supported actually the idea of being transparent. They didn't do it perfectly, in my opinion, because I wanted them to actually provide the company with like a report or something like that, like a quarter report. So like all the people in the company would know directly from them what's going on with the company. They didn't do that because they were always like, I'm lacking time to do that. Like I have a lot of different tasks on me that I cannot do that. So we didn't do that perfectly, but we did like meetings with the middle managements or producers and leads, people like that, and would tell them like, you know, we are disclosing some information for you. This and this part can be distributed around the team. This part is only for you, so you know things. I don't know if that's answered your question a little bit or not. Thanks. Any other questions? Yeah, just behind there.
Thank you for your talk. And I heard this anecdote that there once were a boss who actually really like being transparent, and when hard times come and you know some things with publisher and investors didn't go very well and he has to try to find other options like with a bank loan, etc., he was transparent and he said to his team, hey, you know, we've got these situations, we don't know how it will end, we'll do what we can, but you know, it's tough. And he managed to get the loan and everything went fine, the paychecks were great and actually no disturbance at all were felt. And the feedback he's got from the employees was, why didn't you tell us? We felt so insecure. It was so it was so emotional, tough for us to hurt us. We were thinking about that this is not stable company, etc. Your management, it is your work to make feel us safe, etc. What would you comment on that?
That's actually one of the things that I was thinking also. So sometimes being transparent with people that you work with may actually affect them in a way that they will feel insecure. And it can happen. And it's a very valid point, actually, that you may feel it's not a stable company anymore, so I need to look for a job or something like that. But I think that the key thing here would be how you are telling those kind of things to the team. So if you tell them like, yeah, I'm not sure if the business will be up next week, so I don't know if you will have the paycheck next month, that's probably something that you rather probably not tell that to people. Yeah, like let's keep it maybe to some very small circle of people that you would tell that, like I don't know, like other C-level people. Like you would speak to the, like, you know, CEO will tell that to the CFO, to the CTO, and etc. Like COO. They will discuss that. They will probably know that, but I will probably keep that in that tone, in that circle. What I would probably tell the people is that we are currently in crisis. Yeah, so there's like a problem with cash flow. We are dealing with it. So stay tuned, like in upcoming weeks. Let's be assured your paychecks are fine because I'm working on that, so you will have money and you will be informed about any problem, like further problem on the go. But I feel like telling that to the people, like, you know, I'm dealing with it, just rest assured, like be okay. Like I will have paychecks for you for at least next month. That's why like dealing with budgets is also very stressful for the CEO, yeah, because you have to think that you have like, I know, 20 people that are counting on you that you will be transferring the money to them next month, yeah. But I don't feel like in this particular anecdote that you told us, it's a little bit too much information. I would probably skip the loan thing. Like, if I heard that my boss is, you know, going into debt somewhere, I would feel also kind of insecure with that kind of information. But if I heard that there are some struggles and he's dealing with it, and that's why he's not at the office because he's running around and asking investors for some money, that's on him. Like, I just want my paycheck. Yeah, that's fine. But they probably shouldn't tell too much on that fact. But telling the company that there's a challenge with cash flow, yeah, definitely. Because like some people will leave the company, that's for sure, but you cannot keep them, yeah, like they are not slaves. But I can actually be pretty sure that 3/4 of the company will stay. They will wait up. They will trust that the process. They will trust the CEO will manage actually to provide that money. Yeah, and if they are not going to provide that money, then there's that there should be always that feeling that the CEO will do whatever they can to not leave them out, like to not leave them without a job, that they will be looking for opportunities for them to move to another company. I actually know a situation like that, that the company was closing and the CEO made like a broad announcement. I have a great team that I have to leave because I lost, stability of my cash flow. Those are like great specialists. I'm looking for people that will take them just like, that to their team. So that's also some, caring, yeah, about your employees. That's something that you also should consider when dealing with crises like that. Any other questions or not? If not, then I think that's it. Thank you for attending again and for your attention. I hope to see you again somewhere in the other conferences. Hope that was helpful to you. Thank you.